Howdy folks, me and my dead plant right here. Forgot to water it after the past 3 days, so yeah, sayonara, homie. Anyway, I've got a couple videos on the other finance channel that are more vlogs, so I'm gonna put those on this channel now that this is kind of a stonks vlog channel, if you will. So I think that I'm going to leave those there, but I'm also going to re-upload them on here. But yeah, I don't know, I just thought since this is the stonks vlog, you should get the stonks vlog. And we'll leave all like the in-studio, big detail, analytic crap on the other channel. Anyway, so here is how I believe I bought the best luxury car for $8,000, and tips for you if you were going to go buy a nicer, higher end, old used car on a budget. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're out of the studio today, and I'm going to show you my car. I'm going to show you around, and I'm going to explain to you why I believe I bought one of the best luxury cars for the cheapest price. So I am in a 2008, believe it or not, 2008, and the features in this car are going to blow your mind for how old this is. So this car is super old. A 2008 Infiniti EX35. They don't even make that model anymore. They go by the QX. I think this is the QX50 or something now. But I'm going to show you the good, the bad, and kind of give you some tips and show you the numbers on, the depreciation, the reliability, the cost of ownership, and kind of give you guys some advice on buying nicer cars for cheap. Because everybody knows, you might want a Mercedes, right? But you're going to go get a Mercedes, you're going to get an older one, it's going to be a fortune to maintain, and it's going to be a disaster. Well, that's not necessarily true if you follow the tips I kind of give you. So I'm going to show you my 2008 Infiniti that I bought for $8,000 from a private party. I think they wanted like 10 or something. I just said, hey, I'll give you 8 tomorrow. I did. I got the car. This thing is fantastic. So first, it's a 2008 Infiniti EX35. I got it with about 100,000 miles, and it has 143,000 miles. In fact, I'm getting an oil change in like 2 hours. I knew these cars were pretty reliable, so I looked for one with a little bit higher mileage because I was going to trust it, and then I looked for one that had some slight dings, so that way, that was my negotiating point. I wanted one that I could see in the pictures that had a couple things that I could use to negotiate to get some money off. Here is the car, and I mean, it looks pretty good for a 2008. So this headlight right here, it's got a little bit of yellowing on it, so it is an older car. I cleaned this one yesterday. I thought it didn't do anything, but now that I'm looking at it, it actually looks much better, so I need to finish that. But, I mean, as you can see, it doesn't really look like an old car. I mean, they have 2017 models that look identical to this. And right off the bat, I mean, you can see this car even has a front camera, and I'll get into all the stuff like that. But, I mean, what I basically tried to do was find the nicest car for the cheapest amount of money with the most reliability. And this is what happened. I mean, it's not the coolest looking car, and it's not the sportiest looking car, and some people even call it a driving tampon, but you know what, it's comfortable, I like it. And as you can see, it's got some scuffs right there, but this paint actually has this like self-healing quality, so that's why it's still white. The bumper's all scuffed up. That's not really how I bought it. It was dented in a little bit right there, that's how I bought it, but everything else, that was all me. Other than those couple things, the car is pretty much flawless. So now let's move on to the interior. So right off the bat, you can see for $8,000, I've got some pretty decent interior. This is everything you pretty much see and touch is all very, very soft leather. And it's real leather, not that fake leather. It's real, genuine leather, and it has that awesome smell and soft touch to it. So it's got the wood grain that makes it look nicer, some aluminum here and there, and then it's got more. Obviously this is fake wood, but it's got more wood grain down here, an integrated clock that glows at night, really nice aluminum finishing on some of the buttons, and everything is just very nice. And I even like how the seats have Infiniti embroidered into it, so when you walk in here, you don't really look at this and say, huh, this is a 2008. And before I bought this car, I did so much research trying to figure out how reliable is this, because when it comes to luxury cars and cars with a lot of features and gadgets, especially with older cars, they break, they get really expensive to fix. Even things like dual zone climate control. A lot of cars just have one climate control. You wouldn't think that it's crazy expensive, but it's actually like quadruples the price to have a dual zone climate control feature. So I had to make sure this car was going to be very reliable. And sure enough, it turned out to be very reliable. And that has been my experience. I've owned this car for about 2 years, put about 40-ish thousand miles on it. And I'll show you all the numbers later, but this car is extremely cheap to maintain. Keep in mind, I bought this car for $8,000. So let's get into some of the features. First off, it's a push to start. Automatic climate controls, but that's pretty basic. And then we do have this decent screen. And I'm pretty impressed with this screen. And it's actually touchscreen and relatively responsive. So it's a touchscreen, it has navigation, it has voice commands, so you can press, I think, this button right here and tell it to have you take you to a destination, which is absolutely insane. Garage door openers, but that's all pretty basic stuff. So it has cruise control, which is not a big deal. Most cars have cruise control, but when you press the cruise control button, well, it's actually not going to do it because I'm not moving. It has a feature called automatic cruise control, and it's not just a regular one. So basically, if you have it set to 75 miles an hour, someone pulls in front of you, and then they're only going 50, the car will detect it, it will hit the brakes automatically for you and keep you a safe distance from the car in front of you. And if that car going 55 moves over, your car will automatically gas it for you and get you back up to 75. So on road trips, on long highways, I don't touch the gas or brakes. The cruise control maintains my speed and also does the braking and gas for me, which is insane for 2008. My dad's 2017 Mercedes-Benz E-Class doesn't even have that feature. Another feature that Mercedes doesn't have is lane assist, which is also insane for 2008. Basically, if you veer over and the car detects I'm a little bit too close to a white or yellow line or just edge of the road, it will beep at me. But if you turn on a certain button down there, not only will it beep at you, it will actually turn the steering wheel for you and veer you back into the lane. So when I'm on a road trip, which I take this thing on road trips all the time, I have the automatic cruise control, then I have the lane assist. So I can basically sit here, text on my phone, it goes beep, 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 and steers me back into my lane. And I've even tested it around bends, and it will actually keep me in the lane. Now, it's obviously not self-driving, but it's very, very convenient, and the safety features are fantastic for road trips. So those are two major pluses right there. Plus the navigation. It also has the upgraded Bose sound system, so the sound system is just absolutely incredible. And actually, in the back, it came stock with an 8-inch subwoofer, so the audio in here is just incredible. It also has this weird feature, whenever you turn the steering wheel, the headlights will actually turn the bulb. So the idea is, if you're driving down back roads at night, and when you turn the wheel, it will actually turn the light so you can see better, and you can also turn it sharply in a parking lot to kind of view into your parking space. It's kind of a weird feature, you can turn it off, but it is cool to have headlights to point where you steer. I would show it to you, but I don't really know how to do that in a safe way, and plus it's not even nighttime anyway. And of course, this car does have cameras. How many, you might ask? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 7 cameras, and let me show you. So here is what happens when you put it into reverse. So it has that 360 overhead view camera, and basically it's just camera there, on the front, over there, and in the trunk. And it gives you this overhead view so you can see kind of like a helicopter style. And then of course it has the rear view mirror, and then you can turn the wheel and it bends with it. But if you put it in, oh wait, you can also press this button and it shows you the curb in case you're parallel parking. But if you put it in drive, you actually have a front camera, which is super handy for pulling into spots, you know, curbs, or you're just in a tight space. So this car has a total of 7 different built-in cameras. Now, it's not black and white, it's actually full color, but the lens and I don't know how to show you it very well on camera. It's full color, but it's not black and white. So between the automatic cruise control, the lane assist, the fancy headlights, the navigation, the voice command, the 7 cameras, the real luxury interior, and the insane reliability and the cost of ownership that is very low that you will see soon. As you can see, this is a steal of a car for $8,000. Now I'm gonna go back into the studio and run through some numbers with you.
So let's look at some of the numbers. So for about 2 years of a luxury car ownership, I've only spent $636. And that is replacing windshield wipers and oil change and a couple extra little things here and there. But there's been 0 real repairs on the car. I think I had to get a battery, maybe, you know, just little things like that. Oil filters, obviously. But I mean, $636 for 2 years of a luxury car ownership is phenomenal. So it's about $318 a year for me to own the car when it comes to repairs. That's not including gas and insurance, but everybody has to pay that. I average about 17 miles per gallon, which is not great, but I do have all-wheel drive and a 6-cylinder engine. I fill up twice a month for about $40. That's about $80 a month in gas, which could be better. I only pay $160 a month for full coverage insurance because the car, I did not purchase that much. It is not necessarily that expensive to replace, although it's kind of pricey for some parts. I will be honest about that, but it's not terrible. But I have a great plan through my parents' plan, right? So I'm only 20 years old, so I can still be on their policy, and I'm not gonna get taken off until I absolutely can't be on it anymore because I get a great rate. So it's only $160 a month for me to insurance my luxury car. So after about 3 years, the car will have depreciated about $3,000. So including depreciation lost and all of the expenses, including an extra about $1,200 calculated in there for any unforeseen expenses, it's going to be about $4,954 for me to own this car, including depreciation, all of the costs along with it, besides, gas and insurance. So $5,000 of losing money out of my pocket after 3 years is not terrible for a car like this. But I've sold cars in the past, and I know how to get the most bang for my buck, so I'm probably going to do private party, not a trade-in. I bought it for $8,000. It's gonna be worth about $6,000 or $7,000, but I'm gonna list it for $10,000 and let them talk me down to $995. So if anything, I'm actually going to make money off of this car. Now, it's not an investment because of insurance, gases, oil changes. I'm still going to be out of pocket, but when it comes to the value of the actual car, I am probably going to end up on top, which is unheard of, especially for a luxury car. That is the benefit of buying at peak depreciation. This car is never really going to be worth much less than what it is right now, no matter how many more miles are on it, right? Once it hits about 100,000 miles for this specific car, all the way up to about 160, it's all the same price, as long as it's in decent condition. So I'm actually going to charge a little bit more than I bought it for. Worst case scenario, I will break even. But if I went to trade it in right now for what it's worth, I'll only lose about $3,000 in depreciation. So if you account for all of those expenses, I'll only be $954 after 3 years of ownership if I sell it for what I bought it for. But if I get an extra $1,000 out of it, I'm actually going to be up about $46, right? And that's an oil change. So there you go. That is my process on buying my 2008 Infiniti EX35 with the best driving quality, the best luxury features for the least amount of money. So hopefully this has educated you guys on buying your own car, or specifically, luxury car. If you're one of those people, you're in high school, you want a Mercedes, you might have to get a 2010 C-Class, follow exactly what I did, and you should be well off. But I will say, if you're buying a used car, especially a luxury car, I highly recommend that you say, hey, I'm going to drive this car, I'm going to take it to my mechanics and get it inspected. And then any major repair, you can negotiate off the bill, because a big fear is those expensive cars that are expensive to repair breaking down. But I will say, I read a lot into the reliability of my car, and it's one reason why I went with an Infiniti over a Mercedes, Audi, BMW, or anything else, because my car had the most features. It wasn't the prettiest, but it had the most features, the highest quality. It was well above its time for 2008. I mean, Mercedes and Audi and nothing else was even touching what Infiniti was doing back then with the assisted lane control, or the lane assist and the assisted cruise control, and all, the navigation, the 7 cameras. They weren't even close to that. Best value, most reliability. I've had 0 issues with this car and I'm at 143,000 miles. I'm moving to Florida in 2 years, and I'm gonna try to keep this car as long as I can. So I'm probably gonna have this thing for another 2 years and then go buy another car when I get to Florida. But you guys know me, I like to have a little bit of fun with money sometimes, so I might be getting my dream Mercedes early. But the smartest financial decision is to ride it till it dies. Then I probably won't get $9,000 out of it, but I'll make more videos talking about that soon. So buy in peak depreciation, get it inspected, find the best bang for your buck. Don't just price shop different models or different years, price shop brands. I'm telling you, if you're buying an old luxury car, Infiniti, those G37s, those G35s, those G25s, those EX35s, those FX35s, that era from 2008 to 12, great bang for your buck, very reliable, and it's not that hard to find parts because a lot of those, the G35 is basically the EX35. So my crossover is the GX35, which is the popular sedan that people always, modify, but it's just on a different platform. So, the headlights, most of the interior, a lot of this stuff is similar. So it's not that hard to find parts. Infiniti is more expensive than, let's say, repairing a Toyota Camry that is much more common and cheaper to produce, but it's not exactly as difficult as you think to replace parts. There you have it. Good luck. Follow me on Instagram at Greyson Roberts and DM me what car you're looking at, and I will tell you if it's a yay or a nay. Peace out. Thanks for hanging out. Like and subscribe. Dislike if you don't. Does all the same for the algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next episode.
He got his 9. I've got my 9.
Boss Squad out.